out in the world, along city streets, or even at your local park, you may have noticed a considerable number of benches. What you don't know is that for every bench, a selection of gentlemen are chosen to sit upon them. These gentlemen must put their respective benches to the test by sitting, drinking, and most importantly, talking complete and utter shit. Until now, these specialists and their conversations have been hidden behind their phones, and in rare circumstances, assorted newspapers. For the first time, you have the privilege to listen to these gentlemen do what they do best. Sit back, open a brewski, and enjoy.
Hello, and welcome back to Gentlemen on a Bench. Unfortunately, Jason couldn't be here for this one, but we've got stories to tell that should cover the void in our hearts. So yeah, today I'm going to be talking about my previous work experience. I don't want to treat this episode as if it's a CV. Like we put this up and it's a way to plug myself. Because to be completely honest, I'm not sure if I could be employable by anything I'm gonna say. In fact, if anything, I'm probably just gonna damage my reputation.
You have some good stories at your old job, don't you?
The thing is, my history before going into college with you guys was weird because I was in high school as a normal boy, and then I did a year of sixth form, and then I did, I want to say, 3 months of college. Then I got picked up for a job, and then I had, I want to say, I don't know how many, like maybe another 3 to 4 months of that. And then the next year I went into college, and around that same time I started a job at an unnamed fast food chicken restaurant, even though you know exactly the one I'm on about.
No, I thought you say it, bro. You can say it.
Okay, I worked at the KFC. Actually, I've got nothing bad to say about the store or the workplace itself, and in terms of like places where I worked in the past, it's definitely like the one where I felt the most engaged.
You've obviously fed me a lot of stories from your time there.
Yeah,
it seems like there was too many. Like I don't know. Like
the thing is, right?
A few of them are stuck, and it's like how, like it just seems eventful there.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, right? The way they worked is because it was a minimum wage job, so and a lot of people that went into there were like college students. They were, exiting high school students and stuff like that. So
right,
they were all young and naive.
Yeah, they like to employ minors, all right.
Yeah, essentially,
and not pay
cheap labor.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But the idea is that they would be cycled out. So you would have a few people that would work there at a time, mainly for like a semester's worth of time there, and then they would leave either because they didn't like the job, the job was for them, or because they were off to uni or college or something like that.
Well, it sounded quite demanding for what it was.
Yeah, it is, and it's weird because the job I had before that was working as a website designer with hundreds of clients at a time. So always on the phone, always doing bits and bobs like that. And even though, like, work-wise, that was definitely more persistent.
Uh-huh.
Like there was more things. It wasn't the fact that there was more things to do; it's the fact that there was always something to do. Yeah, it was just that there was always something to do. At KFC, there were if you laid the differences out between designing a website and working at KFC, KFC definitely has like the lesser end of tasks to do. Yet somehow it still feels like I'm in the military wearing like hardened steel cap boots, walking through the trenches, in order to do something as simple as change a fucking bin, which you would think would be like the easiest thing on the planet, except you forget that in between you and the bin at the opposite end of the store is like an army of customers that are wondering why we're out of lemon wipes. See, I tied it in.
Oh my days.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember starting at KFC, and it was a bit of a whoopsie because it was at a time when my health was in question.
Yeah.
And when I went there, I was like, oh fuck, I've just been in and out of college like. I've been in 1 year of sixth form. I've been in a few months of college. I was in and out of a job. I really don't see my future being that stable at the moment. I have no idea what to do. So I started working at KFC, and then it became like white noise. Just go there, set up, do your job, done.
Right.
But time is a killer. It's the slow thing where you'd be doing a task and then it would like fade into the back of your mind and you become less and less aware of what you're doing. So you go in, clock in, do your job, and then you start to like fade into the background. Things that would normally become very stressful or demanding, they seemed less so as time went on.
Right.
And then you just have like a wake up moment. A moment where you look around you and you realize that your drive-through window is open and the guy is currently shoving a knife in your face. And you're there like, there's something about this isn't right, and I can't quite tell what it is.
Yeah. There's one story I remember you telling perfectly was about, involved the drive-through window. I'm sure you'll get to them all eventually.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
I think it's probably worth stating that it wasn't the best part of the country that your KFC was at. You know what I mean?
It was even better because the where my KFC used to be located, it used to be like a city centre almost. So a lot of people went there, and then that KFC got taken down, and essentially they've relocated it into like the outskirts of the city, to a much more dangerous and fire ridden.
I don't think
location.
there's any city in the world where the outskirts are nice. That's why they eventually are like, "No, we're going to stop building and this one will start again."
It's like the void in between.
There's definitely one person, one architect or whatever, responsible for that, just turning them all into shitters. Like uses up all the good ideas in the middle.
Generally,
it stretches out as like, nah, this is where the poor people are going to be living. Let's start again.
It's around about where you get to like the car dealerships. That's when you'll know that you're getting to like the outskirts. That's
yeah. And you'll notice the dealerships become shitter and shitter as you go on. It might start off as a fucking Porsche dealership, and by the end, it's a fucking used Vauxhall dealership, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to get stabbed if I go any further.
Fucking Gareth's back garden, come in here and get a free Lamborghini, and he's just a man there with like broken beer glass.
Gee.
Oh, but yeah, it was a weird place to be in because where I actually live in comparison is I live in Pub City, right? So it's farmland as far as the eye can see, but there are lots of like local bars littered in and around. So everyone's drunk, but everyone's happy and jolly. However, when the witching hour arrives, you get the pitchforks, you get the torches, you get the Mad Max car covered in barbed wire, set on fire, driving through at night. Um, we the other day we have like the local council set up this thing this time of year where we'll have Santa, essentially not the Santa, obviously he's on a tight scale.
Oh,
But we have someone essentially hop in at a float of sorts and go around the area where I live with a speaker and some tunes playing, and he's there to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. You can go up to him in the street, and you know he will go, "Oh, Merry Christmas! Here, have a Snickers on me," and it'll be his trademark thing, right? Santa always comes around people's houses and offers them Snickers, right? It's the trade for letting him in the house. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
yeah. Anyone ever noticed that Santa seems to be sponsored by Coca-Cola as well? I'm surprised the kids aren't just getting a can of Coke at this point.
Like, fuck it, we can do what we want with our sponsorship deals. If Santa can go around advertising a carbonated, sugary beverage, like wherever he goes, he practically is sponsored by diabetes.
Have you seen him, bro? It wouldn't surprise me. Anyway.
But yeah, anyway, he'd come around like once, once a year. He did this a few days ago, and it's one of those things when any other neighborhood you'd be like, "Oh, great! Look, it's him. It's great because it's a part of the council. It's part of the community, so it's safe. There are lots of people there to usher everything on. Everyone's celebrating. Everyone's having a good time, except where I live. Everything's great. Everything sounds good." And then he gets around the corner. He gets out of sight. And then the music just cuts dead. And you don't hear anything for a solid 10 minutes. Now, I have a mate that lives a little bit further on. And I'll always ask him, "Hey, has Santa passed you?" Because that's a one-way road. And he'll just go, "No, it's weird. I never see Santa come down here. I never see Santa come down here." So the only answer I have is that Santa gets shanked around halfway around the corner each and every single year. Like someone's got a vendetta.
That's a logical conclusion.
Yeah.
That's what I immediately thought.
Yeah, exactly. Someone's got a vendetta against this guy. So it's like some guy called Greg who suits up and says, "They're gonna be waiting for me. They're gonna be fucking waiting for me again. I know. I didn't play the blood money to the Welsh mafia. I'm sorry."
Oh, that's got to be a film idea there. Santa vs. Greg.
Maybe if we get enough traction going on this podcast, if we get enough sponsorships in, maybe we could fund something special there. A 1,000.
We'll see.
Anyway, yeah, that was just to sort of describe the area we live in. So. And the KFC I worked in wasn't too dissimilar. So a lot of people came
in.
The
whole country isn't so dissimilar, to be fair.
Yeah, to be fair, Wales is that weird place where you love living there, but you wouldn't recommend it. It's sort of like you're either born and raised here or you're not. You have you have to. I don't know. I was gonna say you have to speak the lingo, but I know that I'm the least qualified person to say that. I don't have. Yeah. I'm probably the most southern northerner on the planet.
Oh, you fucking live in a Hogwarts now, mate. You've lost touch. You've forgotten your roots.
That's why I've come back. I'm touching base here, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll visit that KFC sometime and put like a reef down or something like that. And be like, I remember these times. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, shanking. Right, we'll get to that story. So, I was working there for a bit, and at this point, my mind was like, hey, everything's okay, everything's fine, I'm living the best I possibly can, getting a bit of money here and there. At this point, college had started up, and I started meeting people, and it's like, hey, there are people that exist out here. That's great. Awesome. And then a few weeks in, by this point I'd become desensitized to a lot of goings on, because there were drug dealers that came in, there were some shady people that came in, constantly checking their pockets and stuff like that. Homeless people in and out. It was the usual affair, but at this point, like, it was my first experience of like actually being there firsthand. Actually having to talk to these people, because if they were in the street, I'd see them all the time, but it'd be the kind of thing where you're just like, oh, I can walk around them, it's all fine.
Scott loves the homeless.
I always wear a pair of rubber gloves before I leave the house. Put my hazmat suit on, bring my Glock out, just to make sure. What is the ultimate form of clean, but not moving? It's good. It helps them out. I'm decreasing the surplus population. It's great. But yeah. So at this point, I'd started being that was put onto drive-through. Now I was generally the person that took the orders in. So I'd be on front of house. I'd be there in front of the till, being like, "Yeah, how's it going? How's it going, my G? Would you like a chicken sandwich?" And they'll be like, "No, I want a Big Mac."
Oh, bro, we go further. The amount of people you used to say would go there asking for Whoppers and Big Macs.
And the best part was they were being deadly serious. They're walking into this place going, "Do you have any normal burgers?" Mate, you walked into a place called Kentucky Fucky Chicken. I don't think that you're going to be getting... Like, I'm checking the back, but I don't think there's a cow there. I'm sorry to say. But at this point... point, it was like, okay, I was used to those sort of things. I was used to those sort of weird requests and demands, whether they be taken seriously. First few times, I was like, oh fuck, shit. Like, what do I do here? No, we don't have any beef. I'm sorry. So that's a bit shit, isn't it? I mean, McDonald's is next door. I don't know why you came in here. I don't know why.
Was it literally next door to a Mackey's?
It was literally next door. We had a Mackey's, a Greg's, and a Subway, and we would have people that would walk into KFC first and foremost. I think that's because the car park was surrounding the KFC, but we had a lot of people walk into the KFC, and they were there like, "Oh yeah, could I have a snack wrap, please?" No. Oh, that's a bit cheeky of you, isn't it? No, we don't do them. You walked into the wrong store. Are you okay? They're like, "Oh, okay. Can we have can we have a large Coca-Cola with our meal, please?" We've got Pepsi, but I want a Coca-Cola. I don't know what to say to you. We don't do that here. Well, why not? You're asking me. I don't know. I just work here. But just can we have some chicken nuggets, please? Okay, this is the one where I generally understand, right? People walking in asking for chicken nuggets at KFC. In the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, chicken. That's the logical conclusion this guy's brain's gone to. With that being said, they would have had to have read the menu right in front of me. I always find that funny, because if I were to serve a customer, in most places you go to You know that we've got like touch screen kiosks now and stuff like that. You walk.
Yeah, bro. I would never use them in a KFC, bro.
No. But
Grimy, bro.
But the thing is, they installed them the day after I left. So I was essentially the human touchscreen kiosk.
They were, yeah, as soon as you went, they were like, "No, we can't do this without him."
Yeah.
It did seem like you were like the glue holding its existence together.
I mean, you know, I did a lot there. I worked late shifts. I came into college next day.
They had you training new staff as well, right?
Yeah, I occasionally put them down to like different teams. The thing of the job, which at the time I was fine with, because if I were to get a more demanding job that would pay a little bit more, I was in college and I knew that wasn't very likely at that point.
Right.
But I was fine with it. You know, well, I wasn't, but I made do. But as time went on, I did my thing. I trained some staff members up there. I got to see a lot of people come and go, and to the point where on my last day, I looked around and pretty much everyone there were people that started within like the last like 2 months. So I barely recognized anyone there apart from the managers, and it was a weird feeling because people there were like, "Oh, you were here when I started." I'm like, fuck off. I don't know. But yeah.
How long were you there for, mate?
Oh god. Probably a lot less time than I make it sound.
Oh really?
Nearly 2. I want to say maybe just over 2 years, around 2 years.
That was like KFC was like part of your identity, bro. Like they had properly like nested themselves inside you. Like you were always like working or tired as fuck because you'd been working so much or talking about KFC. You were like a walking fucking billboard for KFC. Any opportunity, you're advertising it as well. They should have had you on a salary, bro.
Mate, they were offering towards the end, like, hey, does anyone want to work in any other department of KFC rather than in the shop? And I was there like,
I'd be like, yeah, go on, I'll work on the fucking board.
Yeah.
Put me on a multi-million salary, go on.
Like, I don't have the qualifications for it, but by this point, I probably drive more traffic here than the man himself, you know, pointing over at Colonel Sanders in the corner.
Yeah, speaking of, and linking to that story you were saying.
Yeah.
You don't do nuggets at KFC, do you?
No.
That's a bit. You should get on to the Colonel about that, mate. That is a little bit strange.
Get on to the Colonel. I've got him on speed dial. Like after
like
KFC.
The most popular type of chicken food you don't actually do.
I'm not quite. The only reason why I can possibly think why we don't do that is down to popcorn chicken, because it was like too similar or something like that, or because they thought about like the quantity of making that sort of stuff. It was just easier to make popcorn chicken because it was you could do a lot with a large batch of chicken out of that. Whereas if you were to like shape them like McDonald's do, because they sort of like they do this weird shit in Mackey's with their nuggets where they always like puree it, and it's weird. It's weird shit that goes on down there. But that's the one thing that I could always say about KFC, right? For all the complaints I heard, like going in, like, oh, I've heard all these horror stories about KFC, I would generally stand by my KFC and say, all the chicken was fresh. All the food was fresh. Everything we did there was fresh. There was no... The only thing that was dodgy was the gravy. And that's because, like, first thing in the morning, if you were at the morning shift, you would have to make the gravy. And it would always be that thing where I would be desensitized, or rather, it would fly out of my brain at a point where I'd be like, okay, you know, I don't really care too much now. I could have a pot of gravy again from KFC. But if I were to work a morning shift, for about 2 days, I would be put off. And it's not because of anything that's unnatural about it. It's not because there's any weird substances that's put into it. It's because this type of gravy, it's granules, right? So you're using this almost like it's chicken gravy. So you're using almost like it's not chicken stock, but it's like chicken granules almost, and it doesn't look too good. What's that? What's that thing called? Um, you, like I can only remember them for like what they were called. Pig's toenails. Oh, crackling. That's it.
Right.
It looked like you were making gravy out of crackling.
How lovely.
Yeah, I know, right? And you would shove like some gravy powder in there to thicken it up and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, it was like, okay, it is what it is. It's fine. But actually,
would you consider it safe for human consumption?
Yes.
Just a little bit minging to make.
Just it's like I can't think of like a type of food where like the midway process looks absolutely disgusting. You wouldn't drink like a bowl of like unmade Jello, you know, like I don't know. You probably could. These are terrible examples. Anyway.
Yeah, I quite like unmade Jello, to be fair.
Yeah, you know, I've got some with me now, actually, just on the side.
Yeah.
Just for this podcast, actually, I thought I might do a quick taste test. Oh, it's delicious. Oh, I highly recommend. Straight from the packet.
Here's semi-half made earlier. All right, I have a question here. I have a question. When you were going on about the food being fresh and that,
yeah,
is it like a lot of other fast food restaurant franchises where like your franchise would buy the food like ready produced from the franchisor and then heat it?
No.
You actually like fucking hand mold the popcorn and shit?
So the popcorn was something that comes like pre done. It was no different than like buying going down to like your local supermarket and buying like a packet of chicken nuggets from there, something like that. Yeah. The popcorn was already done, but the chicken came from a supplier. That's a story I can tell.
The great KFC shortage.
It was fun being first hand at that, but yeah. So it would come from a supplier, but the chicken itself would actually be freshly, not freshly cooled chicken. It wasn't just like we snap the chicken's neck and then hand it over. But it would be like it would be skinned and all that sort of stuff, and we would get the chicken part of it, and that would be then be handed down to one of our 2 to 3 chefs, even though we only had one on. It was meant to be 2 to 3 chefs, but we had one guy on who was the chef who was screaming because he was doing the work of 3 people at one time. I wonder if that's why things got a little bit hectic. He would separate debone a large part of the chicken. At least this is from memory. And then he would deep fry all the parts, and then.
Wait, so you would actually so the chef's actually getting like a whole chicken in front of them?
Yeah, essentially.
Oh, damn.
That's why I said it's done fresh. It's not like Mackey's where they get their patties through the post.
Slaughterhouse in the shed and that.
It felt like it. Our skip was about the size of like a meat locker, and it was about as cold as one as well. But yeah, essentially they would be handed over. Like we would have like a quick sell by date on them as well. So it's not something where we just leave chicken in a cupboard or something like that to sell the next day. We'd bin everything after an hour. I think like an hour was like the cut-off point.
Yeah, so that's good. That's how because you got to be really careful with chicken, don't you?
Yeah, big time.
But my dad went to a KFC once, I think in Ireland, and he got fucking salmonella from it.
Yeah, that can
They
happen.
like
Yeah,
weren't like changing over, like they weren't swapping the chickens or whatever as quickly. I think they were like putting, they were like ready making it, right?
yeah,
And then they were putting the most recently made at the front,
yeah.
if you get what I mean. So
So
then, like,
yeah.
as that's used, it's just getting older and older and older. Yeah, he got fucking salmonella off it.
Jesus Christ.
And so, like, we know, like, he never really, like, ate fucking KFC again until I was, like, I don't know, like 15 or something. Like, he rarely, because he wasn't having it. He didn't trust it.
Cross contamination's real with shit like that. You don't really think about it until you see it happen, and it's weird. But
Yeah, like, he was a chef, so, like,
yeah, Jesus,
like as
that's
soon
even
as
worse.
he'd, like, yeah, he was like, no, fuck that. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to know yours was doing good, though. Just, never eat KFC in Ireland, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, blacklist a few places. But yeah, I mean, I was that's the one thing that I was always like persistent with. Was the fact that at our KFC, like when I saw the behind the scenes, I was far more impressed with it than what you would hear. The only issue was because we kept getting new people in, like swapping them around was really difficult to train them up under like no notice whatsoever. So you're there and like, oh shit. Realistically, a new person would start on a till, but I'm just
Yeah.
standing here like, but I've got two people on till here. I've posted two people on drive through. There's literally nowhere else to put them apart from middle and back, and they should not be on middle and back. And I've had that guy in the corner sweeping for the last 2 hours, convincing him that there's still something there.
Wait, so you were actually hiring more people than you needed?
Yeah,
Like, to the point where they were just getting in the way?
yeah, it was to do with our rota because we're on the rota-based system. So the idea was if they saw sales were down, they would like bring less people in. If sales were up, they would overcompensate. And it was just like, oh, it's fine. We can just send people home. Yeah, but that's money you're haggling with. These people have jobs, you know.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. I could understand the logic behind like why the managers were doing it because there was a shit ton of pressure from people above, as it always is. But it wasn't good to be on like a 12-hour shift and your shift's ending like near midnight and you're there and you do like 30 minutes in and then someone just turns around to you and going, oh, we don't need you, by the way, you can go home. And just like, fuck, I could have,
Yeah, I would assume they're not paying you for those 12 hours.
it was. Yeah, no. If you were gone, you were gone. It was a shit show. Although I did have one manager who generally took pity on me at one point when I was like 2 hours remaining on like a massive ass shift, and he just clocked me all the way through anyway, and I was like,
Oh, what a G.
oh, fuck. Yeah, he was one of the managers that remained through to the end. So
Good.
I was really good about that. Good people still there. But yeah, you would have like this massive influx of like all these new people coming in, and it was nightmarish at points because you were trying to figure out like things for all these people to do because the managers would be in the back office like dealing with supplies and all that sort of stuff, and you'd be left there trying to teach people how to use till. And keep everyone else busy. And when you've already got like a full house, and then you've got extras on top of that, like what can I do other than hand them a brush and be like, you see that spot in the corner? I really want you to go at it. Just fucking. I want it to be. I want you to brush so hard that you actually remove a layer of the fucking floor. Okay.
Was it on you to be bossing these people about?
When there wasn't a manager on the front, yeah, they would. The idea is you would have a manager for middle and back, and then a manager for front. So you have all eyes in the shop. There's people telling people what to do. But if we didn't have those numbers, and I was there, I would generally be made to be put in charge of front. No,
Right. Did you prefer hitting it from the front or the back? Ah,
It's gonna depend who I was dealing with.
so you were basically in like an ass man position, but you just weren't being paid for it.
Yeah, essentially. I didn't mind it too much because it made things in the back of my mind. It was like, okay, but if anyone else here, because everyone was unexperienced, if anyone else was here in my position now, this would be a shit show because I know how to do all the stations. So this isn't just me like bragging, saying, "Oh, I was amazing." You know what? Fuck everyone else there. Close down the shop for 5 minutes. Everyone else leave. I'll handle it. Right? I'll open back up. I'll do everything myself. I'm just that good. Like,
Bro, for real, it sounds like they should have worked hard to keep you there.
I mean, they they did what they did, but I went through like 3 life cycles of that store. I saw 3 store managers before I left, so it felt like going through. It was like watching a TV show and seeing like the showrunners change, where like the
Yeah.
entire tone of the place changes. I saw that happen 3 times.
So like,
And-
the turnover isn't just mental for like the ground workers, but for the managers as well.
Yeah, it's
So-
it's a
were
bit.
they literally coming and leaving from the company, or just being moved around to different stores?
They're coming and leaving.
Shit. And you would never promote, like, they don't promote internally at all.
They do, but the requirements are strict. So I was put down that because I was in college, I was in education at the time, that I didn't really want to be put up to a higher position because working as a manager would require you to do full-time work. And I was in no mood to work there full time, even though sometimes it felt like it. If it was like I had a week off, that was a week working at KFC. But to be fair, they give you like 2 weeks notice and all that sort of shit. So it's not a massive thing. It's just really hard in a position like that where you're like, okay, I have no idea. Like I'm a kid, right? I have no fucking clue what I'm doing in 2 weeks' time. But if I say no, then I get no work, and no work means no money, and I've got bills to pay. But if I say yes, then I know that they're going to put me on every single available shift.
And you're all on 0 hour, I assume.
I was on 4 hours, which made it bearable.
Right.
So it meant that, like, at the very least, I was getting in, like, you know, if it was a busy day, then I know that I'd only be in for like 4 hours in that one day, which was like a godsend. But then past that point, you would get days where it's like, no, we need you to help these people out big time. So you'd be there for like a 4 hour shift, and then halfway through they'd be like, could you do an extra 10 hours? And I'd be like, oh, okay, this sort of came up on me. And he's there crying, weeping, like knees on the floor, begging, like as if he just came off the phone to like his wife telling him that she left him. Like, I really need someone right now. He's like, oh, okay. And then at the end of the shift, everyone would be like, hey, we're going out to the pub. Do you want to come with? And I'm just there, like, bloodshot, headbutting the table. Going, I think I've got a bottle of whiskey at home waiting for me, to be completely honest.
That's the most depressing thing I've ever heard. I got to get home to my bottle of whiskey.
Well, I that's generally around about the time when I start to like drink proper. You know, like not alcoholic, but that's when I start to question like my drinking habits in general. Because
I don't know, mate. You're borderline. You're borderline. You know what I mean?
I can stomach it, you know, but I'm not being unhealthy with it. I
What, just 5 pints a day, right?
just
Keeps the doctors away.
Hey, I'd be a midwife, you know. I'd see what happens. And walk into the theatre with, like, you know, a bottle of rum in one hand, a scalpel in the other, a buzzsaw in the other, rather. Like, I don't know why more people don't do this during pregnancies. Like, we'll just, you know, chop it open, see what happens, get it out. Job done, you know.
Get it out. See what happens.
Got a bit of Pritt stick here. Worst comes to worst, you know. Oh god. Just there, like 3 a.m, crying my eyes out, trying to like Pritt stick like a terribly done C-section back together.
Pritt stick.
like, I don't know why it's not working. I've gone through 5 tubes and nothing's happening. Like, Scotch has been dead for 12 hours. You can stop now. No. You know what it is. We haven't used the tape. Get me tape. Tape always works. Get me another bottle while you're at it. Slightly off topic.
Indeed.
But I think the day when, like, that part of me truly realised that, like, oh, maybe I should consider just having a pint and relaxing after a long shift like this. Was I got put on drive-through, and it was a really busy day. It was. I think we were at a time when we were having like the KFC shortages.
Oh, the great KFC shortage.
The great KFC shortage.
It was 2018, right?
It was 2018.
Yeah, bro. The great KFC chicken shortage, 2018, bro. And for real, yeah. Anyone not from the UK, like, was it a UK or a global issue?
I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was the UK because it came from one supplier.
Right. Well, like, anyone not from the UK, like, this was a big deal. You know what I mean? Like,
the fucking pandemic happened a few years after, and before that, in the history books, it was marked KFC shortage.
Bro, for real, like, it was comparable to the pandemic, bro. Like, for real, people were freaking out.
It was insane.
It was mental. Do you remember all those news interviews of people, like, absolutely losing it over the KFC shortage?
The fucking puns. The pun can't find chicken. Shit like that. I was just there like, it's not even clever. Like, firstly, you misspelled can't. Okay. Secondly, this was the bit that was even better, right? There wasn't a fucking chicken shortage. Everyone just assumed that because we had a food shortage, it happened to relate to chicken because the place was called KFC.
Yeah, well, bro, they weren't saying much publicly, you know what I mean? I only knew what the issue was because you were telling us.
It was mental. It was absolutely mental because
bro, people were losing it. Like, I didn't realize how much people needed their KFCs until the chicken shortage. It was ridiculous, bro.
I had people telling me to fuck off and die because I was like, I'm sorry I can't get you your 3-piece bucket, but we've got everything else. They're like, oh, but we're going to have to shut down KFC because we don't have... It. Literally, here's what it was, right? It was bone chicken. We didn't have bone chicken. We had boneless. We had... Literally, if you look at our menu, when it comes to boned chicken, it's like... Nice. I mean, it has to be done. But otherwise we'd be out of business.
That's why the chef demands privacy, bro.
You're fucking like pouring aphrodisiac into like a chicken's feed, just watching them come at it. Like, come on. No, I can't do nothing with scrambled eggs right now. Get to fucking work.
Right, so yeah, it was literally just the chicken on the fucking bones. That was...
Yeah, which is like 5% of the KFC menu.
That's mental.
Yeah. Like,
I thought it was the whole of KFC was shut down. Like, that it was just rare as fuck if you were able to get food. Like,
but that's the beautiful thing about that. I think that was the time when I really started to kick into me, like, how fucking stupid like humanity can be when it comes to reporting on things. Because firstly, they said there's no chicken in general. Like, we've got no food in general. We've run out of everything.
Oh, we've eaten all the chickens.
We've eaten all the chickens.
To wait for the eggs to hatch. You need to repopulate it, bro. The country's chickens have fucking gone extinct. We've eaten them all.
They're fucking like everywhere. Fucking everywhere in the UK is like, fuck. What's the matter? We
Piers Morgan's there, like, you fat bastards ate all the chicken. David Attenborough's just telling the stories of how chickens used to roam the country.
Just like...
And we bear witness to what it used to be home of chickens. Now just empty cages. The UK has eaten them all.
the UK is eating all of the chickens. I'm sorry. Like, we didn't realise, okay? We were down to our last one and we were like, two
I
legs
don't know who
there.
ate that last chicken. Like everyone knows you don't go for the last slice, bro. Like, who ate that last chicken? What selfish bastard ate that last chicken?
The thing is, you would never know. Because people would blame each other. There'd be like 5 people in a room and then they all be pointing at each other.
Yeah,
And
but instead of
eventually,
5 people in a room, it's 65 million people in a KFC.
there's a chicken shortage, so like everyone's like backed out the fucking door. Like from Wales to fucking Glasgow, some shit like that.
Bro, it was ridiculous, bro.
It was mad. We had people snaking around the car park. It was actually insane. But it literally got to the point where, because there were so many people reporting on the fact that we didn't have chicken or food in general, that less and less people came. So we closed. We closed the store down because of the lack of sales. We just couldn't afford it. And then we get people reporting in the news, oh, they've shut down the store because they've run out of food. It's like, no, it's because no one's going to KFC anymore. Like, this is what happens. We can't. It's not a self-sustaining store. We can't just be like, well, there's no one here, and if we're not selling chicken, technically we're not losing a profit. It's like, no, fuck that. We're losing so much money. Of course we're going to close down. There'll be days where we had the front door locked, and we would just be standing in there waiting for someone to come. And then we would walk into the store and be like, could I have chicken on the bone, please? And like, no. I'm sorry, but we've literally got everything. You see 95% of our menu, right? Boneless chicken. And we do so much shit with boneless chicken. We've got a boneless banquet. That's now half price because we don't do chicken on a bone. We could do your wraps, we could do your rice boxes, we could do you so much shit. You don't have any bone chicken. You've got nothing here. You're fucking useless.
Was it just England and Wales, or was it Scotland and Northern Ireland as well?
I'm not sure. It depends where the supplier came from. I think the supplier was England and Wales.
Right, because, yeah, I'm looking at some statistics here, right? Because when we were speaking, I was like, right, fellas, I remember the country was in fucking mayhem, right? It was anarchy. The purge was active. I was like, I want to look at some fucking crime statistics for that period. And boy, you best believe it, there was a leap.
Holy shit!
Bro, you best believe it. Listen, right? So that's why I was asking England and Wales, was it only them? And you said yes, because there is a massive difference in that time period. It actually dropped in Scotland and Northern Ireland in 2018. Crime statistics dropped in England and Wales. Fucking hell.
Because they all came over here.
Per 100,000 people, there was 45. No, hold on. Sorry, per 1,000 people, there was 45 victims of violent crime.
Fucking hell.
In Scotland in the year 2018. England and Wales, 102. 1 in 10, one in 10 people were a victim of a serious violent crime in that year.
Some guy's in his house and he's like, oh, well, there's no KFC. Time to slap the missus.
Mental, bro. Do you want to know what the jump is for the year before?
Go on.
It was 86. 86? That's ridiculous, bro. It's like a 25% leap. That's absolutely fucking mental.
Insanity.
Bro, that is mental.
They're like
it genuinely had an impact on wider society. Lives were lost because of it. Human lives were lost.
Human lives were lost because they couldn't read a fucking menu.
Bro, people needed that chicken, bro.
And we had it. It wasn't gone.
You just couldn't have it on a bone, mate.
We're just and it's funny because you get people walking in all the time asking for, like, yeah, could I have chicken? But I could I have chicken not on a bone, please? I don't want that sort of stuff. You get that all the time, and then all of a sudden we don't do boneless chicken, and everyone's like, you don't do chicken anymore, do you? Like, period. And when they're like, no, we do. It's just boneless. Like, oh, I'm all right, thanks. Like, you literally came in last week asking for boneless chicken, and now you're here like, yeah, but you told me that I can't have the thing I don't want, and
So
that
now
was
I
sort
don't
of the
want what I do want.
yeah, that's sort of the enticement. I felt dirty ordering boneless chicken. I know you were telling me that you're enabling me to have it. I don't feel safe anymore. I'm leaving.
Is mental. But for anyone not in the UK that doesn't know what we're on about, very simply, there was like your supplier was on strike or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they just weren't supplying chicken to KFC in England
What?
and Wales. Sorry,
It
they
got
weren't
really.
supplying chicken on the bone
Yeah. Thank you.
to KFCs in England and Wales for a pretty short period of time, let's be honest.
Literally, it was like a month,
Yeah. And
but it felt like a year.
it was mental. It was mental. Like, and it was like, I would Google the Great Chicken Shortage. And literally, it's coming up with all these KFC things. The inside story of the Great KFC Chicken Shortage of 2018. The Great
Jesus
Chicken
Christ.
Shortage. This one's from 2021. KFC warns another fried chicken shortage could be on the way.
Oh my god, it's more important. It's more important than anything.
Why is there a chicken shortage in the UK? That's meant. KFC is running out of chicken again. KFC is not advertising its chicken tenders due to a shortage. And bro, all those last ones were from 2021 as well. Like, people are fearing like a second wave of chicken shortage.
It's more important they get the vaccine at this point. Like, people are there like, dude, like, never mind like the statistics for like when the coronavirus is coming in and out. Like, the next wave of chicken shortages is on the horizon.
Why
we're
people
gonna
ask, how did KFC solve the chicken crisis? The chicken crisis, bro. Jesus Christ.
like we're gonna have like a national lockdown if it happens again. But people are going to be restrained to their house, but it's going to be due to violent chicken tendencies. But it got so.
God,
it
sorry.
got
Just before you carry on, when I've
Yeah, go on.
Googled that on the why people ask, I forgot about this. It's saying that to respond to the UK chicken shortage scandal. Apparently, it's a scandal now.
Okay, wow.
KFC did a creative stunt, rearranging its name to spell FCK.
What?
Yeah, bro. FCK KFC.
What the fuck?
Bro, for real. This was 2018.
These people were like so angry.
No, bro, that's what KFC. That was a creative stunt.
But yeah,
Because, bro, you imagine as well, after
God.
the chicken shortage, KFC must have been fucking booming. So if they're adding on to that with the publicity stuff, FCK, KFC.
It was the opposite. After the chicken shortage, we literally had like it was dead. So like the chicken shortage didn't last that long whatsoever.
Right.
But we had people suggesting that we were out of chicken for like a solid year afterwards.
Oh shit!
It was mental. There were people like that.
I just assumed that people would be flooding in trying to get the boned chicken have been denied for a month.
We got the staff in store got blamed for it. big time. So like we would have people that would just like wait for their food, and just because like their food would be like I don't know 20 seconds late, literally 20 seconds, they'll be standing there like oh no wonder there was a chicken no wonder there was a chicken shortage. Like you couldn't find any of that. I'm just saying like, dude. Like we're making you. The reason why it took a bit longer is because we're cooking from fresh. Like we're getting you a fresh batch of chicken just for you.
But people don't care about that. They really don't give a shit. They like the way it tastes, but they don't correlate it with anything. You know what I mean? They don't think that this might taste nicer than Mackey's because it's fresh, or as fresh as fast food can be.
Yeah,
like they just ain't correlating it with that. So they don't give a fuck.
It's insane as well because it's like the fries are the biggest tell of the entire thing because the biggest tell of like how you can tell like
I gotta say though, and I've always thought that their fries are minging.
Yeah,
and like they're rated bad as well, aren't they? Like their fries were rated so bad compared to their competitors that they changed them to the new fries.
Yeah,
which are just as minging.
It's
no disrespect to the KFC chefs. Like you're just doing what you're made to do.
Well,
but like
the chefs don't do it, and that might partially be why. So the way the fries are done, it's middle of house stuff. So the idea is that you get a big bag of frozen fries, you put them in a fryer, and then you set it on an automatic timer, and then when it's done, it's done. But it can be you're relying on that one person to change the oil. You're relying on that one person to know how to filter the oil as well and do all that sort of stuff. And if they don't know how to do that, then the flavor.
That's let me think of something. Are you frying chicken in the same?
No.
The fries.
No.
Right.
We bung everything in there. We stir mash in the same pot as well.
It's not even gravy. It's just the blackened oil that we use to cook everything in.
We get people that ask for like a Pepsi Max, and we just scoop up whatever in the bottom of the barrel. Just
Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's mental. And people are still really scared of another chicken shortage. Like I'm saying with all these articles now, these are all from... None of these articles are older than August of this year.
Yeah.
About people freaking out about it.
It's because of the poultry shortage. It just is what it is. But
just is what it is. You bastards need to stop eating so much goddamn chicken. Or we're gonna run out. They're going extinct, lads.
It's like everyone's on MRE packs and all the chicken ones are gone. And
there used to be something called the Great British Chicken. It was a unique chicken species. But we ate it to extinction. I mean, we didn't really. I think that was entirely bullshit.
But
it could be true.
We wily coyoted it. We were all there with like our bibs and knives and forks, like crossing over into a farm, going, "Oh, I'll eat it fresh. I'll have it now. It's fine." They say fresh chicken's good for you, You got a feather stuck in your mouth. It's seasoning.
Holy moly!
But yeah, it got to a point where I was like getting desensitized to people like having to go on us for chicken shortages. To the point where we had the only queue of that summer on drive-through, and I was put on drive-through. Wow. And I was just standing there, and it got to a point where I was like everything faded into the background. I was doing things automatically. I was on autopilot.
Right.
Pick up food, take it out the window, job done.
I'd imagine that happens quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, when you're on a long shift, especially, it just is what it is. Yeah. And then it got to a point where I was just waiting, and we were cooking so much like popcorn chicken because that's the only thing people wanted. Because we didn't have chicken on the bone, so I was just standing there, just waiting. Like, okay, we've got to wait. We've only got so many fries, and we've got so much popcorn chicken going through, so I just have to wait. I apologized to the customers and saying, "I'm sorry, food's on the way. We're doing it fresh for you," And then One guy got so pissed off, he pulled up right in front of the drive-thru, and then he was there going, I want my chicken now. I was like, I can't do anything about it. I'm sorry. We're in the middle of getting it prepared for you. It won't be a moment. Yeah, but I want it now. I want it now. I'm sorry. I can't do anything about this. It's not physically, unless you want it frozen. I can't do anything about this. It's like, yeah, but I want it now. You're not understanding me. Like,
it's not beef, bro. We can't give it to you rare. You know what
yeah.
I mean? I want like people have their steak blue. It's like, I want my chicken pink, thank you. I just want it heated 30 seconds on each side.
No, I just want you to douse it in oil and just give it to me on a plate. Don't. If it touches heat, I don't want it. Okay. Excuse me. Is this at room temperature? Take it back.
I want frost still on it.
I want to see the blood of the chicken still drip. I want the chicken. Fuck it. I want to see chicken blood on my beef brisket. I want
to feel the parasites wriggling around my mouth.
If it's not saying moo, take it back.
What chicken says moo?
Exactly.
You never passed year 2, did you, bro?
that was on the year 3 course of KFC.
Holy shit!
Fuck. But yeah, this guy got like really amped up, and I was still on autopilot. So like my eyelids were half down, and I was doing my best to deal with him. I got used to like dealing with customers at this point. You know, people shouting in my face, just like, I know how to deal with this. Just don't. So I kept running back and forth, checking on the food, and then he got to a point where he got so pissed off and so angry. It's like, you don't even do fucking chicken on the bone. I asked at the other end, and some bitch told me that they weren't doing it. And he got up, and he reached in through the drive-thru window, got me by the collar, pulled me towards him, and pulled out a penknife. And at this point, I was still not registering anything that was happening.
Yeah, I remember you telling me this, and it was wild, bro.
I was just there like, I'm sorry, but there's nothing I can do about it. Like, not registering the fact that my life was potentially in the hands of the answer I was about to choose. Like,
you were just that done with KFC. You were like, just end it for me, bro, please.
Like, to be completely honest at this point, sir,
sir,
do it.
Is this what you're actually saying?
Yeah, like I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. We can't do anything about this. Like in the back of my mind, just like, to be completely honest with you, sir, do it. Just do it. Do it now.
Do it, please, sir. She just started cussing his mother out and all that.
But we basically gave this guy some random person's order instead. Didn't tell him what was in it, so just that way he would leave. And then after that, like we gave out the next few orders and just shut down the entire store. I had the manager coming up to me, being like, if he had the foil blanket, he would put it over me. Like, he's going, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Like that should have been traumatizing. You can go home if you want. You can sit this one out. It's like, why have we shut down the store? I'm still ready to go. What's happening? It's like, no.
Like,
we've got to.
You do know where this store is, right, bro?
I wasn't. Literally,
this isn't an irregular occurrence.
I was like, it was on my way home when I like start to register things that were happening. Like I had such like a massive delay.
Are you just like out of it, like on autopilot that strongly?
Yeah, I was just
like even when that doesn't even snap you out of it.
Like he was gone, and I was still preparing to give out more orders. And my manager actually just jumped in front of me and slammed the window shut and turned to me. It's like, "Dude, are you okay?" And I was there like, "Yeah, but why?"
No, don't say jumped in front of you like it's all heroic. He waited for the knifed man to leave, and then jumped in front. That's like if in those movies, if they waited for the person to get shot and then dived in front of them. That's not heroic, bro. A firefighter doesn't wait for the building to burn down and then go out and then fucking enter it, does he?
To be fair, if the fire, goes on for long enough, eventually I'll have to stop somewhere. And then if I just give it the last bit, I've done my job. I'm on minimum wage. I'm a minimum wage firefighter. Like, people have died in this building. It's like, yeah, but I could die. And I have to weigh that up, don't I? Like, if I die, who's going to put out the fires?
That's a good point. Actually, I think a lot of firefighters are volunteered, aren't they? So, shout out to them. This episode sponsored by the UK Fire Service.
This episode sponsored by the Expendables,
Yep. Sponsored by them. Get your firefighters at 999.
999?
But that took me a sec. I was like, fuck, what's the emergency services number for the UK?
It's not good.
It was like 911, but I'm like, no, it's not. But, bro, we need some more British media, bro. Like, but it's at the point that in an emergency, I'm going to think of the US code over the UK one.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We'll be there in a few. It'll be a bit.
just on the next plane over from LA to fucking the UK.
I got like a cargo plane comes over with a fire engine inside of it. Like, I'm sorry, we're a bit late. We did the best we could. Oh, everyone's dead. Okay, we'll just go back. It's fine.
Jesus
You
Christ.
can't say we didn't try. It was on them for calling us, to be completely honest. Oh, now America's on fire. Oh, well, there's not a lot we can do about that. Anyone for a bevy?
Yeah. Oh, I don't really want to get my new bench hoodie all dusty from the fumes and that. I'll pass on that.
I mean, like, in the back of my mind, he didn't jump to save me, but that's primarily because he was on the phone to the police. So,
oh, that's brilliant. So then if you do get stabbed, the police could just show up 20 minutes later and look at you dead and go, yeah, mate, I think he's dead.
They just knock on the window.
Why save you when you could have someone come in half an hour to look at you dead?
Well, the police just show up, knock on the door. It's like, oh yeah, we're here. By the way, do you have any chicken? It's like, none on the bone. Okay, it's not worth it, lads. Everyone go.
That's the point. You guys used to give like free food to cops, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean the cops in the area were really, really nice. And to be fair,
it's hella illegal, by the way. Them police are not allowed to be taking that. I'm going to file a class action lawsuit.
Okay.
For them, like
I don't work there anymore. Sure. But yeah,
it's the police, bro.
I've got a fun story about the police as well, actually. So it got to.
Has anyone ever said they have a fun story about the police?
Only people in jail.
Oh, I saw a cop and he didn't shoot me.
Got to leave my house for a whole 20 minutes today without being grazed once by a stray bullet.
Wow, the police took me to this awesome holiday home. It seems so safe. There's bars everywhere. There's even fucking guards protecting me.
And you know what? They even gave me the best massage ever. Yeah, the bruises are still there, right? And the batons they were using weren't exactly the softest, but and they were using some slurs. But I assume that was all just encouragement, really.
Yeah, and anyone listening, I'm not the biggest fan of the police, if you can't tell.
Nah, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But these guys in particular, like they were local lads, so it wasn't like, you know them, and they did their job, and they weren't shit at their job, essentially.
The police, you mean?
The people that we served around that area, like that area very specifically, very, very specifically, they were nice.
Like the police in that area were nice, you mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Like they did their job. They did their job.
So, like, if you were driving a cab
Yeah.
You wouldn't run them over in a cab.
I mean,
is what
I'd
you're saying.
consider it. I'd consider it, but I'd be leaning towards no.
Right. So you'd be there driving a cab, and you
Specifically
would
a
not
cab.
choose. And you, yeah, like a cab, you would not steer a cab into them and run them over. Is what you're trying to say.
No.
Right. So you would just keep in your A cab. You would just keep driving, right?
Yes.
Right.
In that one area. Like if I got 1 mile either side, that'll be it. You know.
Right.
But that hotspot, that one area, you know, they were nice. They did good to us at that store anyway. Like I don't know what they were like out of hours, but you know, probably then I might need to reconsider. But
Yeah.
it's
Well,
like on.
So what you're saying is that they nice the people that are giving them free food.
You know what? Yeah.
Do you think that if you weren't in your KFC uniform and you were just driving a cab, do you think they would be just as nice?
Probably not. You know. You know, the more I think about this, I was wondering why that car was following me for so long on the way back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering why I heard in the in the background. Shit, there's still people watching. But we can say that Yegda's on. You know, we just innocently like skipping back home after KFC, going, "Today wasn't so bad after all." Oh, there were nice people there. You know,
I
they
got
were
to
really
beat up 3 black people.
Holy shit!
They're like they're fucking like them. They get home and the missus is just like, "Oh, how was your day, honey?" And like after they finish beating her up, they're just like, "You know what? It was pretty good. I got to molest 4 Muslims today.
Holy shit!
Life is good."
Life is good. You know what? I
Yeah.
filled my bingo sheet today.
What you know, Muslims do drive a lot of cabs. I just yesterday I saw a Muslim in a cab. That's not a good thing to say, is it?
No.
A cab, right? Go on.
Oh god. Okay, so anyway, these people who at the time, you know, were probably responsible for my safety in that one moment whilst I was in uniform. And looking, and there were cameras.
Saying police are responsible for your safety is like saying your kidnapper is responsible for your safety.
Yeah, but I mean,
I think what you mean is they have the power to choose. Oh, will I beat this man up or not?
Yeah, you know, I'm not saying that they were like. I'm not saying they were saints. You know, I was just saying that like they said please and thank you, which is more than most people did in that area.
Yeah, true.
But
I would also nice anyone saying please and thank you.
I mean,
I can't imagine it was so common, to be fair.
You know, after a long day where I just, you know, I was thinking back to that guy with the knife and thinking, you know, I could have taken it. That could have been it. My shift could have been over earlier.
Brilliant. Oh, fucking hell. I actually believe that, like, the way, bro, I swear, it changed, like, the physical networks in your brain. Like, your entire existence was built around KFC, bro.
It got insane after a while, and it's because of like how heavy they were doing the promoting. So when you left the place, we'd have like team meetings like really early in the morning, and the team meetings consisted of it was pointless because we'd have like a group chat, And in that group chat, they would put out the team meeting videos. So essentially, what they were doing is like, okay, everyone has to be at this physical team meeting to watch a video you could probably watch in bed.
Yeah.
But you watch these videos, and essentially they were advertisement, but for the workers. So it was brainwashing. That's what it was. It was
just play your KFC propaganda every morning.
It was like, 1987. Was it 1987 or was it 1984? What was the film called? The Orwellian book.
1984, I think. Oh,
yeah,
1980.
To Google.
It's a Big Brother, right?
Yeah, 1984. Yeah, that. It was essentially like that. Where you get all these adverts like, this place is like really good, really nice to you, really great, and they would like. Not physically, but like mentally, like beat you into submission, where you just get to a point where it's like, you know what, I hate my job, but it's not that bad, and you start to realize the contradictions in everything you say only after you leave.
Do they start to turn your head against the opposing parties? Like,
you can walk out.
Start to grow resentment for fucking other fast food restaurants.
I did have the sudden urge to bomb a few Mackies, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't. Full disclosure, I didn't. I would never.
That's us cancelled, bro. Well, I've said some suspect things on the pod. You have just got it cancelled.
It's fine. We can find other networks.
Other networks.
I'm sure there's like some dark web shit where like Timmy.
No, bro, we're everywhere, bro. Half of our listeners are probably from the dark web, bro.
Shit, we're everywhere. So
we're everywhere. Now we're going to be nowhere.
No, we can sell propaganda. We can do this. We can influence the listeners.
You know what? I was about to say some outrageous stuff, but I think it's probably not worth it.
But after what I've just said.
No, go on.
No, okay.
I don't want to catch charges for gentlemen on a bench.
Fair enough. But yeah, anyway, Mackey's has generally got me through some tough times. I just want to point it out. If I need a quickie, Mackey's is where I go. And I'm not saying they're bathrooms.
Yeah. Like if you're in the middle of a busy city and you suddenly need a shit, you go into Mackey's, aren't you?
Yeah, and it doesn't even have as much blood or semen as KFC, so it's it's got plenty. I wouldn't go.
Yeah, I mean you do need to like wear shoes with solid soles if you don't want like the leftover needles to be like stabbing into your foot.
Yeah, and you make sure you make sure you pack your granddad's old service revolver just in case as well. But
for real, bro.
Hard hat. You make sure that you've at least got a bag of cocaine, so that way, if anyone comes up to you, you can get rid of them then and there. But other than that, but yeah. Anyway, these team meetings were essentially it was advertisements for us. So it was to tell us how we could sell their products, and it got to the point where it was mental. So we had.
Was this every day?
No, it was like every fortnight.
Right.
But it got to the point where
that's got us back in the algorithms. Go on.
There we go. Yeah, so it was a bit like a battle royale. I'm just thinking of keywords that we can now. But we would tell people how to use their physical V-Bucks on our store. I've got some more somewhere. And basically, we would floss their minds with the default dances of a chicken brushing their lips.
The YouTube algorithm is loving us again now.
And then we would really push it so that way we could get some raid Shadow Legends. That's what we would call our prime customers, Shadow Legends. We'd make sure that we could.
No, bro, I swear I said just the other episode, if we ever plug Raid Shadow Legends, we're done. This is over. This is the last episode. It's done.
Like the one before like the episode before the Christmas one. That's it. We never even made it to Christmas.
Oh yeah,
We get-
next episode, people, we are going to try and do something a little bit special.
Woohoo!
Not yet have we thought what it is, but I'm sure it'll be magical.
Maybe we won't get cancelled. Maybe that'll be the episode. Maybe it'll be the one where we don't say anything incriminating.
Yeah, maybe we will have an episode where our fate is not in jeopardy after it's finished.
You know what? I know that we've said this before, but honest to God, like these episodes get vetted, right? So before they when they go out, I generally to certain suppliers, the only way that they will actually like sponsor us or be affiliates with us is if they check it out beforehand. So big ups to Bench, right, for still being with
big ups to Bench. Bench, we love you. Yeah, I've got my entire extended family Bench trackies, and they look gorgeous. And my nan is like wearing a Bench fucking flat cap now. So like big ups.
Generally, I walked into a Tesco's yesterday, and I generally saw a pair of was it like a pair of Bench shorts? And in the back of my mind, I was genuinely tempted to get them, but the only thing that stopped me from getting them is that I wouldn't be able to use code Gentleman Bench at checkout for 10% off.
Woo! Woo! Loving that. Okay, Craig, put in some like round of applause sound effects.
Yep. Thank you. Also, something that I spotted there as well is that Bench are really, really big on fitness. Saw some really, actually great priced like dumbbells and weights.
Yeah. I lost 14 pounds in 2 days.
I
wearing
lost
Bench.
200 pounds in 40 seconds.
I lost I lost 201 pounds in 40 seconds shopping at JD Sports.
I have no cartilage left because I burned it all off. Using code Gentleman Bench for 10% off at checkout. As I was typing, I could feel myself losing weight.
No, I was losing physical money shopping at JD Sports when I should have been spending it at Bench.
When I should have been using it at Bench and making sure that at least 10% at checkout using Gentleman Bench, that profit goes to Gentleman Bench, so that way we can survive and keep advertising Bench. That's the cycle, by the way. You know, we fuel Bench and Bench fuels us, and you fuel
all
everyone. So we just wanted to say, on behalf of Bench, because I think we can be spokespeople for them now.
Definitely. We are at that level now where we are like the face of Bench.
Literally, I can't see an advertisement.
We're basically majority shareholders of Bench now.
We own Bench.
So from the heart, speaking on behalf of Bench, we can say, "Fuck you, JD Sport."
We could say on behalf of Bench. You know that comment I made about Mackies beforehand. I didn't mean it. That was a joke. That was a joke. I like Mackies.
The views and opinions stated in this episode are solely that of Scott. It did not reflect Bench. Clothing.co.uk using the link Gentleman Bench at checkout for 10% off your order.
And right now, I am not talking on behalf of Scott. I'm talking on behalf of Bench. Because I've changed my name to Bench. That's how much I love Bench.
Yeah. My name used to be Saul. And now it's Big Bench. The third.
So from one bench and another bench to another.
And on behalf of Bench.
On behalf of Bench.
We wish you a Merry Benchmas.
We wish you a Merry Benchmas.
And a happy
unless you're an atheist, in which case consider joining Bench. I remember on this day, like thousands of years ago, a bench was born. When
that's the idea for next week's episode. We're gonna tell the story. Bench edition.
Yeah. Bench edition. Yeah, no, I'm actually 100% aboard for that.
Bench edition. Actually, bro, even in our fucking Gentlemen on the Bench Discord. we'll probably keep that the fucking on the welcome and rules page. Like, we just have a love of benches.
We do.
That's got me an idea though. That benchclothing.co.uk, using the link in our description if you're watching on YouTube or our Twitter bio. Bench, regardless, Bench should put up benches around other clothing stores that are like all white and then in red letters, Bench.
Yeah.
Like, just literally have a fucking bench advertising Bench. Or you can put it anywhere, including right in front of other clothing shops. I think that's a brilliant idea.
And the best part is, it will seem so natural that they wouldn't question it.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be almost subliminal.
Yeah.
I think that might be the line that they cross. Where they walk in and they'll be like, I've got a real urge to use Gentleman Bench for 10% at checkout on bench.co.uk.
Using the link in our Twitter bio or the description of this video if you're listening on YouTube.
It says Timmy. It says 3-year-old Timmy. Those are his first words.
Bro, these are going to be this following sentence. Use code GentlemanBench for 10% off your order. The link in our Twitter bio or the description of this video, if you're listening on YouTube, is going to be so ingrained into our listeners' minds now. Say it with me, audience. Use code GentlemanBench for 10% off your order using the link in our Twitter bio.
Twitter bio in our
at Gentleman Bench.
At Gentleman Bench.
Or the description of this video. If you're listening on YouTube.
If you're listening on porno.
Yeah, exactly. I think every listener said it along with us. You know, it is ingrained.
Yeah,
there's going to be a generation of kids whose first words is that phrase.
They're going to come out. Oh, I need to tell you about potential sponsor at some point. We've been requested, but I'll tell you about that.
Our services have been requested, fellas.
Yeah, and I generally think that it's so weird it might actually work, but we'll get to that. If it works, you'll have heard about it by now. But yeah. I can't. Oh right, propaganda, brainwashing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? We still have time.
Yeah.
Obviously, my time was restricted today, and this pod's gone on for a while.
Yeah.
If we can't finish it, because obviously you want the whole lemon wipes thing integrated as well.
Yeah.
And you have stories for fucking years. We can always make this a two-parter.
We can, but also there's going to be. We can come back to this in increments as well. Like I've got many stories about my jobs, so you know, this can be like an arc, a bit like banter on the bench, where we're going to come back to that occasionally. I can always come back to
bench is for when basically for when Jason's not prepared anything for his episodes, and we just need a filler to waffle.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. If you ever see a banter on the bench, it was probably Jason's episode. Who isn't here with us today?
Yeah.
And will probably not be in the Christmas one.
Unfortunately.
I know you guys are gonna miss him. He says so much. But
he's actually he is the spokesperson for the podcast.
Well, he's definitely summit. Miss you, Jason. Come back soon.
Miss you, Jason. Come back soon. He's choosing Spider-Man over us.
No, he's watching Spider-Man tomorrow.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, he's watching Spider-Man over doing the Christmas special.
Yeah, we're probably recording that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Because
I am on a massive time constraint.
Right. So.
Left. crisscross.
You can sit on a bench. Cha-cha on the spot. Do. Yeah, wait. I'm thinking about. I can't make any merch out of this episode. I can't add any merch to the website that involves KFC because that'll be. I'm thinking about like the phrases that we've used in this episode, and generally, I don't think I can turn anything into a mug or a T-shirt without incriminating things. Like, I don't think that.
No. I mean, we can't use anything with the word KFC
or bomb.
Yeah, we cannot use "I want to bomb a Mackey's."
Oh, no.
We cannot make it around running over cops in a cab. Yeah, that's basically it. There's none. All right, deal with it.
Benchy.
You shouldn't be buying the merch anyway, because you should be buying all your clothing from bench.co.uk using the code GentlemanBench for 10% off your order, using the link in our Twitter bio @GentlemanBench or the description of this video if you're listening on YouTube.
Mate, that was perfect.
Well, thank you.
I generally think I cried gravy. I made gravy with that. That's what it's called when you find out
with pork feet scratchings and granules.
When you find out that you've impregnated someone at KFC, it's called making gravy.
Oh, that's a way to get back into it.
There we go.
Was there any workplace scandals?
Oh.
And were you involved in any?
All of them.
Names can be changed or avoided, but I want details.
None that I would bring to light on my end. But there were, there were people sleeping with married people. Let's say that.
Oh, go on. Give us all the juicy details.
The juicy gravy, right? So there was a fairly
spill the gravy.
Spill the gravy. Gravy was spilled. So there was a person. There was a person who was like fairly new to the place, and
right. Give him a name.
Okay. We'll call her Barbara.
Barbara. I think that was definitely a real name.
Absolutely. There was no hesitation. Right. Maybe that was her name. So,
go on. So what was this Barbara doing?
Yeah, this person who definitely was called Barbara. She was new, but she was one of those people where you could just never judge a book by a cover. But
was she like Barbara? She sounds old. She must have been what, 60s, 68.
Maybe cut a few decades off of that. She was, I want to say, 27. Yes.
Right. There's a lot of 27-year-olds called Barbara. So anyway.
A lot of 27s called Barbara. That's why we call her Babs.
Babs. Babs.
And
go on. What was Babs up to?
So you basically, she was one of those people that would flirt with absolutely everyone, even customers. Right. She was living a life. She was living free, but she was also one of those people that would never ask for a first name before she slept with them. So it did get to a point where we had someone who joined in, a fairly nice person. Let's call him Greg.
Right, Babs and Greg.
Babs and Greg definitely weren't their real names, 100%. And they, he was a married man who had a child.
Right, and how old was Greg?
Greg was, I want to say, 30.
All right.
He was 12. Yeah, the rough childhood.
Fairly similar in age then.
Yeah. So he was a nice bloke. He did his taxes.
Yeah, they did his taxes and cheated on the missus.
Yeah, as
Lovely broke.
as any true white British American should.
Oh god. If you do your taxes and cheat on the missus, crack it, bloke.
I can't say that I'll offer you a pint of Guinness anytime soon because you're not worthy of that. But you definitely,
Pint of Guinness in every pub.
a pint of Guinness,
Pint of Guinness in every pub in the land.
He definitely found a blind person and definitely took advantage. Anyway,
no face, no case, I guess. And speaking, I was speaking to Dave from last week's episode.
Yeah.
And he informed me that I missed out a lot of juicy details.
Oh my god.
As much as I tried. But definitely at some point, I want to get Dave on the pod.
Yeah, 100%.
And retell the whole story. Hopefully with Jason actually here, actually speaking, and bringing in the genuine, exclusive insight that he had with Watson.
Do you think that Jason's like he's Agent 47, 70? He's actually like a hitman, and the reason why we don't hear from him is because he goes off. Like he has to mute his mic because he's got a hostage in the background. Right? He's like, now, hush, hush. He's pouring gasoline on them. Like as you and I go, penis, am I right? That's all he can hear off like a speaker. And then he returns.
I don't know how sensitive my mic is, but we're just hearing this in the background. I don't know if that picked up.
Yeah, it did. Just like at some point, all we hear is like, oh. At some point, he accidentally forgets to unmute, so all we hear is like this genuinely like horrified scream. And then he just starts to panic.
No, he didn't panic, and he's a seasoned professional.
Yeah,
He just takes us out before we can squeal.
That's why he joins the podcast, because he keeps us in earshot. So if we let on anything like that, when we say like,
we should probably stop speaking about this just in case.
Yeah, just definitely go to our link tree. Definitely use definitely use the bench link, because that doesn't go to our helpline. That definitely doesn't go to our helpline. Just remember to use specifically Gentleman Bench. That way they know where we are.
Yeah. Also, all that aside, right? Go to our Twitter, Gentleman Bench. There just is some cracking banter over there.
There is. We've had
involved. We don't have as many followers as we deserve.
But the
get involved.
I love how your voice sounded so sincere. Like we don't have as many followers as we deserve. When my mind generally reversed that around, you did some sort of subliminal shit there with your voice that made me think you're saying we probably we get too much love. Honestly, we get too much love. When in reality, you're saying, guys, you're really letting the side down. Come on.
Yeah, Gentleman Bench. Sorry, Gentleman on a Bench. It's not my thing. It's not your thing. It's our thing. But we're all in this together. And you guys are letting the fucking side down. So go to our Twitter, @Gentleman Bench. Just show us some love.
Show us some love.
Get involved. Bully us a bit. We'll bully you back.
We went out of our way to get you 10% off at Bench Clothing.
Indeed, we did.
And the least you can do is go to bench.co.uk. Get something nice. Christmas is here. Pair of undies, Pair of Knickerbocker glories,
Knickerbocker glories. Love that.
I mean, if you're buying a fresh pair of underwear towards Christmas, it's probably because you ran out of toilet paper. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to fit the wood.
Oh my god, I have a great idea for a future sponsor that I'd love to work with. But that's for an after the pod discussion.
Absolutely. Speaking of after the work shift, Greg and Barbara.
I like what you did there. Go on.
Thank you. They would often go out drinking together a lot, and then one day, Greg would come back in, and he would just like have this look of pure like, what the fuck did I do? And he he just spilled the beans. He was just like, yeah, I did.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
What, like to you personally, or did he gather everyone round?
He gathered everyone around the campfire. They sing this campfire song. The entire store was there. We were all gathered around. The customers came in as well. He wanted everyone to feel at home, so he got everyone to sit on the floor. He picked up a microphone and he was like, "Yeah, I did it. I entered the danger zone. I went down Route 6. I went down Route 66, and I made it. I made it to Vegas, and let's just say I got the jackpot, but I lost it as well.
I lost my family.
I lost my family. I killed
I
my
spent
family.
so long in the casino, I lost my missus.
I got a little bit blinded with greed. I might have used her as a bribe. When you're out of money and the nearest thing is a human being, the line blurs between currency and free will. And I just thought, you know what? She'd probably go to a new home. She'd probably live it out fine. And so what? Sure, her name might be changed and might never see her again. She might have a collar on her the next time I see her, but let's be real here for a second. Let's be real here. That Lambo over there, probably worth it. Probably worth it. Let's be honest. I'm probably saving on money if I do it this way. With the amount she uses on bloody talcum powder for the baby.
Wow.
Could probably sell the baby's manure and they'll be making more profit if I just sell the child.
Fucking hell.
Anyway, back on topic.
Anyway.
Yeah,
so basically Greg and Barb's were porking.
Yeah. And he wasn't a fan of it. He did it, so clearly he was at some point. But at that moment in time afterwards, when he had sobered up, when the spoons watered down, appetizer got out of the system, when his Pepsi Max cleared out, he got off a sugar high and he realized that he was in the wrong. And you know what? He still did a bad. I'm not gonna say that he was in the right. I mean, good on him for like feeling shit about it, because honestly, yeah. But by the sounds of things, he wasn't that happy. Like with his life back home. So it was sort of like you could see it was going to happen at some point, but it was still shit.
Right.
Babs did not regret anything. She was prepping for round 2 with anyone, really. So, it was a real juxtaposition of this guy coming in the most sober he's probably ever been in his life, and Babs, who just sneaks in through the back door in more ways than one, staring at everyone, and rubbing her hands together, going, "There's gonna be a chicken short here eventually." Really taking advantage, putting on the popcorn chicken, sitting back with a grimy cup of Pepsi Max in one hand, going, "Look, you're all going to be desperate." That's why people go to KFC initially, because they realise that Mackey's isn't as good as what it actually is. So In fact, that's the perfect analogy. When you realise when you're sober and you look at Mackies and you think, oh, that's not good, is it? That's when you go to KFC. So you can sort of tell that it's either that or you go to KFC because you think that Mackey's is probably punching above your weight, and something inside you tells you that because KFC is so British, you identify it with slit throats and dead children. That's probably like the only two circumstances you would go to a KFC.
Right.
Either because you're sensible or because you're actually some part of you thinks that in your drunken stupor that KFC is the equivalent of like a Friday night kebab. And you know what? Fair to them. But having the employees think the same way is a little weird. You're there like, you know what? This chicken ain't half bad. You know what? This is actually really good. I actually think that KFC might be up there now at this point. And then you get someone in the background going, Nah, I'm just here because the pub's around the corner. You never get discount here, don't I? So you're just sitting there like, oh yeah, bye. It was a really good shift. See ya. And then 5 minutes later, they come back stumbling in with a puke bucket in one hand and cash out in the other, going, hey, fucking, what have you got with garlic mayo on it? It's like, I'm sorry, but we don't have any chicken on the bone at the moment. Ah, fuck you. I'm going for a Big Mac. We don't have any there. I'm sorry, we don't have any Big Macs here. But we do have some chicken burgers. What do you have with beef in it? You work here. I honestly don't know why you're asking these questions. But your fries are minging. Don't order fries then. That's something else, right? People who
I know you used to get really pissed off at that.
People who don't, people who come in and say, I don't want any fries for this. You don't. Here's the thing, right? We're not Mackies. You don't have to have fries. You can order anything else. Literally, you can come into the store, order a box meal. You get a burger, you get fries, a side, and a drink. Okay. Now, if you don't want the fries, guess what? You don't have to have them. You can swap them out for another side because fries count.
Oh wait, can you actually?
Yeah, fries count as a side, so you can literally walk in and be like, yeah,
"Oh shit, yeah."
Can I have?
No, you are right. That's even on the menu, isn't it?
Yeah, you can literally walk in and be like, "Can I have a Philip?"
Yeah, yeah.
And
like, I don't think it expressly states that.
No,
but now you say it, it is quite obvious how it's set out.
You can literally. Of course, the difference is when someone walks in and they're like, "Yeah, could you swap out the gravy for a popcorn chicken, please?" And they were there like, "That's going to cost a bit extra," and they're like, "But it's a side, isn't it?" No, it's not. Because you get.
I can understand their thinking.
Yeah,
but at the same time,
pot of beans versus.
That's like that. Like nowhere in this country would that be an acceptable swap out.
It's like walking into Mackey's having like a large burger meal or something like that. You get your Big Mac, you get your fries, and you get your Coke, and someone goes, I don't want fries. Could I have a quarter pounder instead? And then they're just like, you know what? Fuck it. It's a free country. Here you go. Although I generally believe that there would be some. That's the thing, right? Staff at KFC versus Mackey's. I feel like that they got employed for the wrong job. Like it should be the other way around, because you'd think that Mackey's, with it being like, I think Mackey's and I think white, like clean, not clean, but like I just think like. I think 3 a.m, pitch black outside, and you walk in, and then you're almost blinded by like.
I thought you were talking about the staff and customers.
Oh yeah, well that too. I actually that's a good point. I don't think I've ever seen a coloured person work in a Mackey's before. So
a coloured person, you heard it here, folks.
Hey, you know what I mean? A person, like, fine, a black person. A
coloured person. You've cancelled yourself there, buddy.
Fine. I deeply apologise for my statement. Look, when you work under Colonel Sanders,
Oh, that's the point. Is like why are you all called like what you I don't know your staff or whatever, and then you have your managers going upwards. Why is it not all done in military ranks?
because Colonel's top, and you can't really fit too many people in below. Like I think that's a really good standard actually. Like when your highest ranking person is like on the lower end,
Yeah.
you've got like this whole enterprise under him. You've got to question some things. It's like being like, I don't know. It's a bit fucked, but yeah, like I've got. Oh god, I've got so many stories to tell about the Colonel as well. At some point, like a true
A
story.
lot of personal experience first
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah, I mean, he looks the
Yeah.
way he acts, you know.
Yeah. He used to go on about his old gunslinging days.
My God, it's so fucking insane.
It is mad. His personal life is absolutely crazy.
Like you
And
don't
I
hear
reckon,
about.
obviously, we have Christmas special next week.
Yeah,
And then after that, I think it would be quite fun to do a part 2 to this.
yeah.
And really, because there's so much more from KFC. There's so much. There's the whole fucking hint of lemon story. And then there's about the Colonel. I don't think we can just fit it into one episode. And I am basically out of time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
This has been well. We've been here for about 2 hours now.
Jeez Louise, Captain.
Isn't it? 4:49 we started recording.
4:49. No, what?
2:49. 2:49.
Holy shit! We're in the future, guys. Have we made it? Hang on, I'm gonna Google gentleman bench. Right, gentleman on a bench. Let's see what pops up. Oh, Twitter pops up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've made it.
Yeah, we made it.
Cool. Who knew that only a few minutes into the future is when we get a big break?
Yeah, we have a whole Google slide. We have everything.
Yeah. Oh, and we're cancelled.
Oh.
Actually, it's worse than that. We're going on trial. Something to do with running over the police. I'm putting that on a shirt.
In a cab.
In a cab. I'm putting that on a shirt afterwards and selling it to children.
Santa's just a coke addict.
Well, he gets around the world in one night. He's gonna take.
Oh yeah, he's on something.
They're fucking whipping the reindeer to death.
Mrs. Claus is just getting it in the back. I'm loving it. You know what though? Now I've googled it, I think it's really cool because I googled "gentleman on a bench" before we made the podcast.
Yeah.
No, after episode 1, I think. And every result was just about blokes sitting on a bench.
Yeah, literally the
But
images.
now everything's about us, which is awesome. We have a Google slide. We have our Twitter, then Sounder, Facebook, then something that's not us, then Spotify, then Audible. This is pretty good.
We take up the majority of the first page on Google. That's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, that's a start, brother. That's a start.
It is.
Only 4 episodes in. Hey, page
That's
2
true.
is 2 of our podcasts. Then Podbay, Instagram.
And then a cease and desist from KFC, McDonald's, the Colonel himself.
Yeah.
Ooh. And what listen notes people are making notes in our podcast. This podcast and artwork embedded on the page are from... Oh, wow. Someone's given us credit. What the fuck?
Aye. Anyway, I have to love you and leave you now, my friend.
That's okay.
I don't know if you're going to finish up without me or end it about now.
I'll end it about